Naruto is a lot more realistic than you thought, and its foundations are based on and inspired by real life. The ninjutsu from Naruto are based on real techniques that, yes, were called ninjutsu, but were less flashy and used for espionage and assassination. And a part of that ninjutsu training was also mastering cool hand signs called kujikiri, but those kujikiri were really used to increase your body heat or calm your nerves, not to shoot cool fire like Katon. But Katon, Gokage no Jutsu, it existed. It just was the art of quickly creating a fire anywhere using any tool. The same goes for that just was the art for breathing and hiding underwater using, again, whatever tools were available. Also, the Sharingan and its techniques are based on and named after the Japanese gods Izanagi, Izanami, Susanoo, Amaterasu, and Tsukuyomi, while the rivalry and personalities of Sasuke and Naruto are based on the thousands of years old and eternal battle of good versus evil in Hinduism between Indra and the Deva versus the Asura. And Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru are not Naruto originals. They first appeared in a book first published in 1806 that is literally called The Tale of the Gallant Jiraiya, and the Byakugan from the Hyuga clan, as well as Hinata herself, they're based on this real photo from 1963. And yes, I just gave you all the answers, again, without the whole, and if you want to know what the answer is, then watch until the end of the video and subscribe. No, I am not that guy, because I am, however, the guy who will now go into details on all this stuff for about 30 minutes. And while Naruto is a lot deeper and realer than you might have thought, this stuff... No Shinobi did that in real life. And yes, Shinobi, by the way, not ninja. Ninja is just an alternative reading and pronunciation of how Shinobi is written, and ninja is easier to say, so calling them ninja became mainstream in the rest of the world. And while we're on mainstream, female ninjas did not look like this. I wish they did, bro. They were called kunoichi, and they would actually look entirely unassuming. All shinobi, male or female shinobi or kunoichi, you'd never notice them, because in reality, being the dude in all black creeping around town at night like Shalishin would actually be counterproductive. Real shinobi would look like farmers, beggars, prostitutes, or merchants, and they would blend into whatever their environment required to accomplish their mission, which was usually to kill someone. And all of that is already what's called ninjutsu. In Naruto and all anime, ninjutsu is flashy and requires screaming the name of your technique for some reason. In real life, ninjutsu was the strategic training of the mind and of stealth, the art to be an expert in guerrilla warfare, to become the perfect spy that doesn't stand out, and most definitely not one that is running around in an orange jumpsuit screaming Sasuke! So, depending on who or what the target was, shinobi would often operate in brothels, and even more often on farms actually, which is the actual reason why many shinobi were carrying around kunai, you know, these things. A kunai was just a farming tool, possibly a deadly weapon if need be, but not a shinobi's weapon of choice. Wigs, makeup, clothing, disguises were more of a shinobi's weapon than any blade. And another very important tool a shinobi would use was his mouth. Wait, nah, not in the way you think. Well, actually, if a shinobi's undercover in a brothel, maybe exactly in the way you think. Maybe they're using their mouth. What I'm referring to is using their mouth to spread gossip. Yeah, on some real Mean Girls thing, many shinobi would infiltrate a community or society and spread rumors about the target. Just like...
So, what is the scuttlebutt? Anybody hear anything? Nothing? I got a little something. I don't know if I should say.
So just keep it to yourself.
Stanley is having a midlife crisis.
That's an authentic shinobi at work, right there. Tell the husband what his wife got up to with this other dude, and then maybe the husband kills that other dude for you because that other dude was your target. And if the wife ends up as collateral damage, hey, if she dies, she dies. Not a problem. Shinobis have a very gray moral compass. They would often use gossip to ruin the reputation of a target to the point that maybe the target even commits suicide. Or if not, they would poison an entire well just to kill the target also, or stage accidents, whatever needed to get the job done to kill the target without getting their hands dirty. But there was one way you could stay safe from the shinobi gossip girls, and that was to use Surfshark, because Surfshark offers a security filter to keep your private data private. For example, while accessing public Wi-Fi. And you know, when we're on the road and we access that public Wi-Fi, we are lonely, we need to access some stuff that might not be quite kosher, you know? But even more importantly, Surfshark's VPN allows you to watch anime you otherwise can. Let's take The Promised Neverland, for example. Here's me trying to watch The Promised Neverland on Netflix from the USA. I can't because it's not there. Now I use Surfshark, I change my location to Germany, and I can watch The Promised Neverland.
Oh my God! Wow!
And it's more than just that. Many streaming services and online subscriptions in general are more expensive if you subscribe from the US. But if you change your location, you can register as if from a different country and get a better price. This affects every country, as most online services have different prices depending on where you are. And with Surfshark, you can avoid that. And with my special briefed Surfshark link, you get an insanely good offer on all of this. I mean, look here. Over 24 months of Surfshark's premium VPN is usually $432 in total, right? If you use the link in my description, you only pay $55 in total for 2 years of VPN. That's only $199 a month. I mean, $199 a month? You're probably gonna save that money on just one subscription that Surfshark allows you to get cheaper. And they throw in 4 months extra on top because Surfshark is gangsta like that. So click the link in my bio to get Surfshark for $199 a month, and if you somehow don't like it, Surfshark has a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning you literally have nothing to lose. Unlike the victims of the Gossip Girl Shinobi assassins who were not protected by Surfshark and had everything to lose, and by everything I mean their life. So when it came to killing targets, Shinobi avoided getting their hands bloody at any cost, which means no, they didn't throw shuriken either, you know, these things. Even though shuriken have become synonymous with shinobi, they were actually used by samurai to distract the enemy before samurai would charge into melee combat. And by the way, the noble samurai generally hated shinobi and considered them and their methods very dishonorable.
Pollard, what are you doing? You're acting like a girl out there. What are you, a girl or something?
Especially since shinobi could also be hired to simply be bounty hunters or mercenary by whoever had enough money. But anyway, all of these espionage tactics that shinobi were trained in, that was ninjutsu. A part of ninjutsu was also taijutsu, which would be the martial arts part, you know, hand-to-hand combat. But that was more for emergency situations when the mean girls tactics didn't work. And that's when real shinobi also made use of this. Hand signs. Yeah, it's just that they called them, what am I doing? It's just that they called them kujikiri and didn't throw them up like gang signs on steroids in Naruto, but just used one of 9 different hand signs, each named after God and each with a specific purpose. One could increase your body heat, another heighten your concentration or lower your heart rate. This was not magic, but just the meditation part of their ninjutsu training. During that training, shinobi would meditate for days upon days upon days upon days, constantly throwing up these signs, and eventually, after so much muscle memory, just using the hand sign in the heat of battle or the moment, it would already put the shinobi's mind and body in the desired state of mind and physical condition. They could relax immediately or lower their heart rate, which could be used to even accelerate healing. Think of it like an instant meditation pill, or an instant, I don't know if you don't meditate, I guess an instant post-masturbation effects That's out of pocket, man. But you get all relaxed. You know what I mean? It's not even a joke. It's true. So they didn't throw up these hand signs to attack, but they did have real jutsu. They did have real techniques. Like they had this. But the real Mokuton no Jutsu was just the name of a technique in which you hide in the foliage, which was a technique drilled into shinobi during their training, along with... But the real Katon no Jutsu was actually the art of lighting a fire as a distraction, and then there was... Except the real version of that was the art of concealing your movements in the water by hiding under weeds or using a reef to breathe, And finally they had... But the real Doton no Jutsu was, was just curling into a ball, like into a fetus position, staying still to look like a rock. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Me during a panic attack is Doton no Jutsu. It's kind of funny.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
And you remember these guys from Naruto? Ninken, ninja dogs. Yeah, shinobi actually used them. Dogs were trained as part of ninjutsu training and used for their sense of smell or as messengers or occasionally to attack or distract the target. Very similar to how the police and military use dogs today, actually, now that I think about it. But, every once in a while, a shinobi actually would become a dog because, when you see a thing in a kimono, a ninja is bound to become a dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry about that. Sometimes while infiltrating, shinobi would disguise themselves in animal fur or use a dog's severed head, hold it up in the dark while crouching to appear like a dog in a pinch. Or every once in a while, a shinobi would cut open and hide in an animal carcass. And all of these ninjutsu techniques combined left people amazed. Even back then, it seemed like shinobi could just disappear, and the way they changed their appearance seemed like shapeshifting and even into a dog? What? And how are they even controlling these dogs to just attack and do their bidding? They must have some summoning magic to conjure up these beasts and then these weird magical hand signs. Like, what the hell is going on? This stuff left people flabbergasted. Yes, flabbergasted. I feel like we're not using that word enough anymore. It's a convenient word. So over time, shinobi's abilities became shrouded in myth, and many thought that their ninjutsu training somehow gave these shinobi superpowers. That was the only way to explain how a shinobi could at times bring down an entire government by taking down a feudal lord that was supposed to be untouchable. Shinobis were the super secret agents of Japan, and it was impossible for the average person to comprehend how they could do what they do. And that's how the myth of the all-powerful shinobi learning magical ninjutsu was born. The reality of a shinobi's life, though, was lonely. They didn't go on missions with their friends or risk their life to protect their family or do noble things. No, in fact, shinobi knew that they were disposable tools when it came down to it. So underneath whatever act they needed to put on for their mission, they had no friends and no family. They had quiet and unassuming personalities and cut off anyone close to them so they could become disposable nobodies. So basically everything that Naruto is not. And if we're looking for a more realistic portrayal of a shinobi in Naruto, we'd have to look at Itachi and the secret missions calling for literally inhumane sacrifices, or Danzo and the Anbu. But one thing that's really realistic-ish in Naruto is the ranking system. Genin, Chunin, Jonin, those are the actual shinobi ranks. It's just that in real life, the genin was the one actually going out to do the missions, and the chunin was the right-hand man of the jonin, while that jonin was basically the guy behind the desk that's no longer going on missions, but is just assigning them to the genin. Like the dogs, very similar to what police or military has going on today. And all of it, everything I told you about, That's the system of ninjutsu. And just to prove to you how real ninjutsu really is, there was actually a UFC fighter by the name of Steve Jenham who fought and won at UFC 3, and he had a third dan black belt in ninjutsu. The Sharingan and every single one of its abilities is taken directly from Japanese gods. Tsukuyomi is based on the god Tsukuyomi, son of the male creator god Izanagi, and born when Izanagi washed his right eye. Tsukuyomi then became the god of the moon, who represents the spiritual world and darkness and is also associated with the passing of time. Naruto fans should get the reference to Tsukuyomi, time loop, passing of time, moon, you get it. And then there's named after Amaterasu, who was Izanagi's daughter. Born after he washed his left eye, she became the goddess of the sun, who represents the material world and light. Then there's Susanoo. He was another son, born after Izanagi cleaned his nose. Susanoo became the god of the sea and its storms, and fittingly, he was a more turbulent character, and he was expelled from the heavens, stripped of his divine duties, and sent to earth, where Susanoo became a hero who defeated the terrifying serpent monster Orochi. Yeah, Naruto fans remember how Itachi used Susanoo to beat Orochimaru, and the names Orochi and Orochimaru? Not a coincidence. Orochimaru basically just means snake boy, because Orochi means snake, or snake monster rather. In the mythology it's always a snake monster, and Maru is added to words to turn them into a male name, so that's how you make Orochimaru a male name. So we have three iconic Sharingan techniques named after the three children of Izanagi, but why was God washing his nose and eyes in the first place, acting all fertile? Well, Izanagi was cleaning himself because he wanted to wash away the memory of what he'd seen in the Japanese underworld, Yami. What was Izanagi doing in the Japanese underworld, Yami? Izanagi's wife, Izanami, died after she gave birth to the fire god Kagutsuchi, who set her kuchi on fire, being a fire god and all. Izanagi couldn't deal with the loss of his wife, and so, ever the romantic, he fearlessly journeyed into the underworld to bring his wife back. But when he got there and saw her decayed zombie body, he was like,
Oh, damn!
I'm sorry.
And so Izanagi ran away, left his zombie wife in the underworld all alone, and washed away her memory, cleansing his nose, cleansing his eyes, and giving birth to Susanoo, Amaterasu, and Tsukuyomi. Now, of course, Izanagi and Izanami are also Sharingan techniques, and the techniques' respective powers are also represented in the story of the gods. Izanagi, the technique, allows you to change reality, just like Izanagi the god wished he could have done after he lost his wife and after he saw her decayed body. And the technique Izanami allows its user to create an infinite time loop that one can only escape out of if they accept their fate, just like Izanami the goddess had to do when she decided to stay in the underworld, and Izanagi had to after he gave up on his wife. They had to accept their fates. But there's more. The siblings Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo inspired more than just the Sharingan. They are literally the foundation for the rivalry between Naruto and Sasuke, them and other gods from Hinduism. But let's stay in Japan first. Start simple with what we already know. Sasuke represents the darkness and Naruto represents the light, right? By extension, Sasuke represents the moon and Naruto represents the sun. You probably already see where I'm going with this. It's pretty obvious. Sasuke is Tsukuyomi and Naruto is Amaterasu. And an interesting tale in the mythology is that once the sun and the moon, sister and brother, were always in the sky together. But one day, Tsukuyomi was tempted by some darkness and killed a fellow god. And as punishment, his sister Amaterasu cast her brother out to live in darkness forever, forbid him from ever being in the heavens alongside her ever again. And with that, the day and night cycle was born. Well, I guess there's still the eclipse when they're in the sky together, and you should know that in every mythology, brother and sister, they're always boning. And those two were going at it before they had a fight, you know what I mean? So I guess when they have the eclipse, Amaterasu is going to have lonely and want some of that moonlight. And What's wrong with me in this video, man? I'm sorry. God. Aside from the boning, well, I guess it depends on what Naruto fan fiction you read. Aside from that, this is very reminiscent of how Sasuke followed the path of darkness and left Konoha. But there are other gods that inspired Sasuke and Naruto. You remember how in the manga and the anime, Sasuke and Naruto are the reincarnation of siblings, right? Of Indra and Asura. To be exact, the sons of the sage of the six paths, brothers who are locked in an eternal rivalry, so eternal that they are constantly reborn and continue their battle through the generations as Madara and Hashirama and as Sasuke and Naruto. That whole rivalry between Indra and Asura, that is actually a staple in the Indic religions. Indra is the god of the heavens, and like Thor and Zeus, he controls lightning and thunder. So Sasuke, being the reincarnation of Indra, controlling lightning, not a coincidence. And as the god of the heavens, Indra also controls the heavenly devas, or the suras, and they are locked in an eternal struggle with the asuras, who, for the sake of simplicity, you can think of as the anti-gods, evil beings. And now you're probably thinking, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Why does Sasuke represent the good guy and Naruto the bad guy? I got you. Get this. Indra, leader of the Devas, is a lone, calculated, unemotional, strong god ruling over the Devas in their holy battle against the Asura like a general over his troops. On the other hand, the Asura are all completely ruled by emotion, which in the context of religion, being ruled by emotion is a bad thing because it means you draw power from your malevolent energy, right? Naruto is entirely ruled by emotion, often for better, sometimes for worse, and he obviously draws power from the malevolent energy within him from the Kyuubi. This is also very symbolic and touches on Buddhism, where Asura also exist. Within Buddhism, an Asura can escape the cycle of rebirth and reach enlightenment by overcoming its malevolent energy, which is why in the manga and the anime, Naruto can achieve Sage Mode after making peace with his evil energy. And while I'm on Sage Mode though, you know how Naruto grows extra arms while in that mode, or in general while using the Kyuubi's energy? Yeah, even that is taken from the Asura, who are always depicted with several arms, which by the way is also why they inspired Zoro in One Piece. But that's a different topic, that's a different video. The point is, Sasuke and Naruto's rivalry is taken from this fundamental concept of good versus evil within Hinduism and Buddhism. On the Japanese side of things, there are two other gods though who also influence Sasuke and Naruto's power, the gods Raijin and Fujin. They are two brothers. Izanami gave birth to, remember the wife of Izanagi who he abandoned in the underworld because she wasn't hot anymore and he was into zombies? Yeah, she was so pissed off at that she gave birth to two demons, Raijin and Fujin, who escaped the underworld and manifested her wrath in disasters. Raijin became lightning and Fujin became wind, and the two constantly devastated Japan with thunder and storms. Then, one day, while fighting each other, one of the brothers lost an arm, so they went to the sun, their half-sister Amaterasu, for help. But she made them promise that in return for that help, the brothers have to give up their anger and their hatred and use their powers for good to protect humanity, which is why Raijin and Fujin eventually caused the famous typhoons that stopped the Mongols from invading Japan twice, once in 1274 and in 1281. I don't think you need me to point out the parallels to Naruto and Sasuke here. Wind, storm, losing an arm, uniting to fight off a big, powerful invader. You get me, bruv. Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru all come from an ancient mythological tale, the tale of the gallant Jiraiya from 1806. In this tale, which was collected over 43 novels, Jiraiya is the protagonist, a master of toad magic who teams up with the slug princess Tsunade to defeat Orochimaru, who wields the power of the snake. In short, the story goes like this. The evil snake spirit wants to take over Japan, and in order to do that, it needs to defeat 3 clans that rule the land. the Ogata clan, the Matsura clan, and the Tsukikage clan. So the evil snake spirit attacks the leader of the most powerful of the clans first, the Lord Tsukikage, and attempts to kill him, but fails because the Lord Tsukikage is saved by a mysterious boy named Orochimaru. The Tsukikage is so thankful to Orochimaru that he then adopts him as a son, but little does he know that the snake spirit already possessed Orochimaru. See, this boy never saved the Tsukikage. The snake spirit had set all of this up to get closer to the Tsukikage, a fake attempt at his life, a fake staged rescue by Orochimaru. And now that Orochimaru had been adopted, the snake spirit could also infest the Lord Tsukikage's mind and made him kill all of his own children, all of his legit heirs, so that Orochimaru now was the sole successor to the Tsukikage clan. You with me? And then the snake spirit killed Lord Tsukikage. Now, possessing the body of Orochimaru, the snake spirit led the Tsukikage's powerful armies against the other two clans, the Ogata clan and the Matsura clan, defeated them and took control of all of Japan. In that great war between the clans, Jiraiya and Tsunade fought for the good side against Orochimaru, but were defeated and thrown off a cliff and left for dead. Of course, since the story is named after Jiraiya, he survived. Him and Tsunade were found by a hermit who nurtured them back to health and taught Jiraiya toad magic while Tsunade learned slug magic. So now the two do the whole training arc thing, and wielding magical animal powers of their own, they confront Orochimaru and the snake spirit again. But Orochimaru is strong enough to fight both of them to a deadlock until Jiraiya uses a magical spiritual waves-cutting sword to separate the boy Orochimaru from the evil snake spirit by cutting its evil waves. Then they quickly exorcise the evil spirit and save Orochimaru's life before they reinstate the clans, save Japan, and Jiraiya and Tsunade get married. And that's where the three legendary Sannin come from. There is another tale of Orochido, which I mentioned earlier, where the snake monster is defeated by the outcast god Susanoo. In this story, Susanoo, after being cast out from the heavens, uses his godly powers to whoop Orochi, the monster that is threatening the world, and then finds the magical sword Kusanagi in Orochi's tail. Not wondering why the snake has a sword in its ass and chalking it up to some kink, he keeps the sword and then presents it as a gift to his sister Amaterasu, so that she lets him be a good god in heaven again. Amaterasu then eventually gives the sword to the hero and Prince Yamato so that he can defend Japan in the name of the emperor, and after Yamato successfully wields Kusanagi against Japan's enemies, the sword became a national treasure, and ever since, Kusanagi, that sword, is locked away in the Atsuta shrine, and only whenever a new emperor takes the throne, the ceremonial sword is brought out, last seen in 1989. And if you didn't catch on already, an alternative name for Kusanagi is grass cutter, because Yamato, once his enemies tried to set him on fire, and he cut the grass, cut all the fire, because it logically doesn't make sense. He cut the grass and somehow the fire was gone. Anyways, he gave it the name grass cutter, and that's the sword that Sasuke wields in Naruto. Alright, enough mythology and gods. Let's look at what this real-life picture from 1963 has to do with Naruto. This photo right here became famous under the name The Eyes That Saw a Nuke. The title implies that this girl saw the nuke go off in Japan in 1945, and that's why the picture went viral years later. But it's not the truth behind this picture. This girl is the daughter of people who were affected by the fallout of the nuke in Hiroshima. She never saw the nuke. The girl was born blind, and the picture is from 1963 and actually just called The Blind Girl. But any Naruto fan can obviously see that this is literally Hinata. Like, literally, from the haircut to the Byakugan eyes, this is Hinata. And how cool is it that Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, by the way, if you're not a fan and watching this, Kishimoto is the creator of Naruto. How cool is it that he took a tragically famous photo of this blind girl and used it to create people with all-powerful eyes in Naruto? It would be super cool if Kishimoto admitted it, but the guy is vehemently saying that he was not inspired by this picture, which is absolute BS, he's lying. I don't know why. Maybe he thinks it's controversial that he was inspired by something so tragic. For some reason, he's saying he didn't use this picture as inspiration. Come on, I mean, this girl clearly inspired Hinata, and to make it even more obvious, the name Hinata, translated literally means a sunny place, and her last name, Hyuga, means a place that the sun hit. Sun, radiation, nuke, radiation, it hit Japan, a sunny... It's so obvious. And again, I think Kishimoto is actually empowering people affected by the tragedy in Hiroshima with this. But somehow he denies any similarity to be intentional. But I mean, there's so many other obviously intentional similarities to mythology and real life in Naruto, and I just can't tell you about all of them yet, because it would make this video way too long. It's already long, but if you want, I can do another video about how the Akatsuki were inspired by war philosophy, or how the entirety of Naruto is basically a metaphor for Buddhism, with Naruto taking the role of Buddha and Madara fulfilling the role of the anti-Buddha, whose name, to make it really obvious, is actually Mara. And there's some other things, like hidden meaning in all of the names in Naruto basically, but it's a lot. Let me know if you want another video on this. Let me know in the comments. Until then, thank you for watching, and next week I have a bit of a different topic for you.